Dan, do you have any new information about Raleigh and 382 or anything like that, what they're doing up there?
No, in fact, I need to look and see, I hadn't had a chance to look at whatever bill they
Yeah,
started up today. I'm gonna look into that
it's always a mystery.
on that.
You say that, I'm not the whole thing. You'll have to one little.
I'll push back. I'll start doing one of these.
We are all accounted for. We will call to order the Pinehurst Village Work Session meeting for September 23rd, 2025. We will move on to the topic of general business. We have two items, and then we will enter a closed session to discuss another item. First topic is discussion regarding appointed advisory board term limits policy. Doug, why don't you review this? It seems like it was just a few years ago we adopted the policy.
We
So
did.
go ahead.
It was actually one of my first tasks when I came here as assistant village manager, so you have me to blame for this. We had a BOA appointments that were 3 years and other appointments that were 2 years. And I was like, that's weird, let's just all make it consistent. And so I picked 2 years, not knowing that there was actual statutory language that the BOA should be 3 years. So I am suggesting that we move all of our committees and boards to 3-year terms. And to keep it consistent, we'll have 2 3-year terms, so they'll remain a total of 6 years that they could potentially serve on a committee.
On A, or can they go from one committee to another after 2 terms?
They could, I mean, ultimately, council is who
Right,
appoints
sure,
them. Yeah.
sure. And is the, how does the handoff take place? Because there's some people who are in the second year or.
Yeah, so what I would recommend that we do is, as appointments expire, that any new appointments we just do for 3 years.
3 years, and that way it all catch up eventually.
Yes.
Okay. I'm trying to search my memory, other than probably Doug convinced this council at the time to go for 2 years. Was there a discussion, Dr. Morgan, do you recall anything that we dwelled on about 2 years? Or is
Well,
this-
maybe dwelled on it, we discussed it,
Yeah.
it would be easier. And then discussed on, change from there, it wasn't a big conversation.
Yeah, I can't recall.
And
That's
we
why.
just sort of, we went with the recommendations and
Okay.
then go for it, but if there's a statute,
Yeah.
I think it's a pretty simple discussion now, the statute's a statute.
Yeah, the question is, do you want them all to be consistent, be 3 years, or some 3 and some 2?
Right.
It would make it a little easier for Shannon to have to track all of them if they were all the same.
3.
Jack, did you, as a former member of a advisory committee?
Yeah, I was there for 3 years the first time, and so I never understood why we changed it to 2 years.
Okay. So we are,
And the statute only talks about the board of adjustment.
Right,
It does not
it's just-
mention,
just the board of
committee.
adjustment.
I had 3 years makes sense to me for a lot of reasons. Surprisingly, it can take you a year or two to get kind of up to speed on what's going
Sure.
on and how you do it and so forth. And so I think 3 years makes more sense.
Yeah. And then there's the question also, well, he's filling them. You get 3 years, is a little more lead time.
Yeah, you have less turnover.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
Okay.
That'd be really nice.
That's another nice advantage. Do we have any other thoughts on this, or is everybody comfortable with just going to the 3 years?
Is John
3
still with
years?
us? Because he's, been on HPC and so he might know.
He's in there, I can.
Technically,
Yeah,
he's not supposed to.
He's not supposed to participate,
That's
so
Never mind.
he can send me his comments after.
Yeah.
So
Right.
Be
Okay.
surprised.
I can follow up with John, but.
Okay. Well then,
Can you hear me?
it's okay.
Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Let's stay legal.
Yeah.
If I were allowed to participate, I would be in favor of 3 years.
Okay. Okay.
Well,
Well,
unfortunately, you're not.
That's hypothetical.
You're putting your thumb on the scale of Doug trying to run this in a very legal manner. Well, Doug, I think there's a consensus that we move to 3.
Can we pass resolutions in a work session?
You can, but we need to update the policy language anyway, so.
Right, and okay, so we'll see it.
Bring it back
Let's
next
bring
time.
it back, yeah.
And I think it's also good to do a little rollout when we do this. One, advise our current members,
Yeah,
and then let the public know in case there are some people who thought, I don't want to apply for something for 2 years. I don't know.
Yeah.
But the public want to know, it's another step in sort of the management of our village. And
I don't think it'll be that dramatic a change.
no, I don't think so either. It makes sense. I just think it's a good opportunity to remind people if they want to serve the 3-year commitment. Okay, so we'll look for this to be brought back whenever you're ready, Doug. Could be next meeting or after that. And with everything else that has to get updated when we do that. Okay, the next item is from Shannon and Doug.
It's really just from Shannon.
Just from
So
Shannon.
I will let Shannon explain this. She's been tasked as the 250th Celebration Committee Chair.
All right.
If you want an official title like that, we'll
Okay.
give you one, yeah.
So as the memo notes, July 4th next year is the semi-quincentennial, or the 250th anniversary of the United States. There is an America 250 North Carolina chapter that Audrey and myself have been kind of trying to get ideas from. They're set up to function state down to county. We don't have a Moore County committee, so it's kind of going state to Audrey and myself. So we're doing the best we can. These are the ideas that we pulled from meetings, a team meeting that we had with America 250 North Carolina. So the first idea is to do a proclamation making December 15th, 2025 the Bill of Rights Day in the village, because the Bill of Rights was ratified in 1791 on that date.
That's one, okay.
And that's a very important bedrock of the American Constitution is the Bill of Rights. Then January 1st, 1863 was when the Emancipation Proclamation was signed, another really, really important turn in the history of the United States, giving everyone equal rights in terms of no matter what.
Citizenship.
Yeah.
Freedom
And
slip.
ended slavery. So we're proposing to make January 1st, 2026 Emancipation Proclamation Day in the village. Then for sometime in January 2026, we haven't set on a date exactly yet. We'd like to have a Beyond the Liberty Tree event. We're still looking at either Marshall or Cannon Park, where we would install a southern live oak. We're pricing container oaks versus a B&B burlap ball tree. The burlap, the B&B tree would be significantly larger and would require someone to come and actually help us install it. So we're just pricing what the largest container tree we could get that we could plant ourselves would be versus doing a more substantial tree would be. So we're gonna plant the landmark tree, which will have a plaque designating it as such that it's a landmark tree and that it was planted in celebration of the 250th anniversary. We also would like to do a village-wide time capsule that we would bury at the site with the landmark tree to be opened at the tricentennial. And we thought that the ideal planting time is January, February for these types of trees because they're dormant at that time of year, so we could plant it and allow it to kind of settle in and start to get established before the heat set. And January happens to coincide with when the village first welcomed visitors, so it would be kind of a double meeting to plant the tree in January. So that's the first like really big event that we're kind of looking at. And also Audrey had the idea to move the time capsule that's currently housed at the library over to Village Hall for display during that time. So it would be bringing that time capsule over and celebrating it while also bearing a new time capsule to be opened later on. Then March 4th, 2026 coincides with the first day that the first U.S. Congress convened under the newly ratified Constitution. So we were proposing to show the American Constitution documentary movie, either in Assembly Hall or the Fair Barn, depending on how many residents respond that they'd like to attend. The movie should be free. It was produced by UNCW and actually filmed predominantly in Wilmington, North Carolina. So we're just trying to figure out how to get access to the movie right now, but we would sell tickets, sell them, but they would be free. It would just be to basically keep track of how many people want to come so we could do crowd control and make sure the venue was large enough. We'd get little snack bags of popcorn and some waters for people too, but so it would be the documentary movie on the 4th, and then also to plant the small, like little personal flags that people carry for July 4th sometimes, plant 250 of those.
Oh, these are the tiny flags.
Yeah, the tiny little flags. Yeah.
I thought, my first vision was these big ones, no.
Oh, yeah, no,
Okay.
tiny little flags.
I get it,
In the
good idea.
And then the last thing that I have on the list there for you is one of the ideas that came from the Utah chapter of America 250 is to do an America's Potluck. That slightly terrifies a lot of staff to think about eating food from someone's kitchen that we've not seen or met. So we kind of spun that a little bit and came up with, well, why don't we do a recipe book? So it still engages family recipes from residents in a way that is a little safer and more more friendly to
I really like
people.
that one. I think that could be, that could really go over well. I think the rest of
I
the
liked it
people.
too. I thought it was great.
I think that'll.
I'd encourage kind of the melting pot idea of America, because the recipe on here is not just, okay, what do you have from 1776 about apple pie and ice cream and stuff like that, but it's, you know, the people from Italy, I'm sorry, you're close to me here, to pick on this, it's your family's got Italian recipes on that, or
Well, some Irish.
Germany, or Irish, or, you
Yeah.
know, that kind of stuff, but actually kind of put the melting pot flavor to it,
Mhm.
of, well, this is what America is.
Yeah.
Give us a different type
I think
of.
that really is, that could go a long way, yeah.
I'm not afraid of the potluck idea though. If everyone wanted to bring food anyway, I still am.
I love the potluck.
Doug's much more brave when it comes to food than I am. Yeah, so we thought of the idea, the Stars and Stripes and Shared Traditions, a Pinehurst recipe collection celebrating America's 250 years. That would be the title for it. And like Jeff touched on, people would submit their recipe, but also we'd ask that they give a brief paragraph about where did it come from? Is it an Italian recipe? Is it Irish? I know in my family we have something that my great-grandmother made called fricadilly, which is, from everything we can gather, a Norwegian or Scandinavian type recipe. Yeah, so, yeah.
Americana, yeah.
So where did it come from, and tell us why it's important to you?
Oh, yeah, give it enough lead time, that could be really wonderful.
I make a motion that we prohibit eggs Benedict though.
Nah, I get it.
It should
All right,
be.
bye-bye.
Go ahead. Gosh.
Where's the McMahon when you need it?
Yeah, well, some like good ideas. What are we gonna do on July 4th?
So July 4th should be the fireworks and the standard type of event, but beefed up a little bit more. So that's something that we'd need to coordinate with Parks and Rec to do our standard 4th celebration, but make it a little bit more special and a little more extravagant, I guess, for the
Yeah.
celebration.
We're also trying to talk with Aberdeen and Southern Pines, like what are their 4th of July events, so.
Yeah, it'd be nice to have like a Tri-Cities organized, semi-organized
Yeah.
Is there anything we can do where we involve the Pinehurst Elementary School?
Yes.
Just put it down as a possibility of,
We have, I didn't get it on the list here because Audrey and Kristen and I are still trying to figure some details out on it. There are 3 books that the UNC Press has published that are specific to Revolutionary time history in North Carolina. So we're going to buy a copy of those books and organize storytime events for the kids around those specific books. So that's something where we could involve Pinehurst Elementary and
Okay.
the little ones in the area.
Well, see, this is page 4 of 6, you've got 2 more pages of ideas.
Oh, the rest is for close.
Oh, never mind.
that's why I raised it, you cut it off. Just a few other thoughts. I'm glad to hear about the July 4th thing. I mean, that's the day of concentration with the press and everybody, so we ought to factor in what we might or might not do with the pilot. They may have some special insert
Yeah.
or something like that, so just think about that, that's very possible. Two other things. One is, how can we get a few more citizens onto your steering committee, or you're the chairman, but I'm just wondering whether we get former mayors or current chairs of advisory boards, just get a handful of other citizens that will, provide support and input and all, and we can put a little something up on the website, and
I think we could definitely engage the Neighborhood Advisory Committee members.
maybe that's it.
That'd be great.
That's a good idea.
Beautification, I think, would be another good one. So now that we have a little bit of a more solidified plan and you guys seem to be on board with what we're thinking, we can start doing a little bit of engagement with our committee members and advisory members
Yeah,
to help us. I know especially with the recipe book, it's not going to be anything fancy. It'll have a designed front cover and back cover. The inside's going to be basically Word documents put together. We're not going to have like graphics or pictures or anything, but compiling it all together, maybe going through and grouping recipes in terms of desserts and mains and sides and things like that would be something that we could definitely use help with. So compiling and organizing.
Okay.
And
Testing.
Yeah.
food tasters, yeah, they're food tasters for them.
And then
Give it a
promoting
star
it.
rating,
Yeah.
the Williams scale.
We're hoping that the sales of the recipe book, we could put those towards the new library.
That's a good idea.
So,
Yeah.
Well,
then, of
yeah,
course,
I've had, in the past, I've had a few conversations with the National Park Service about this 250th. And, because they've asked me first on, what are you thinking, how could you help contribute with the recognition and so forth? And in our conversations, we realized that, it's hard to go back to 1776 and
right.
because we can't.
Yeah.
But in fact, what they implied was that the celebration of the 250 years, a little bit of the celebration they're trying to work in is how the country evolved in various regions, sections, cities, or whatever, and maybe there's a hook there. I'm not exactly sure how to articulate that,
Reaching out to them.
that's the only thing we could come up with together. Maybe our evolution as a
Well,
forest into a town is an American story that they could possibly, and I can talk to you more about that.
Yeah, please
whether or not
do.
it makes sense. I mean, the National Park Service right now is kind of full of a lot of things going on,
Sure.
but that may be an interesting.
and of course, we have that connection between Donald Ross and his great-great-great-author Betsy Ross. So I don't know if people know that.
I went to a,
I made that up, guys. Oh, boy.
I'm not gonna call her.
I went to a presentation at the Moore County Senior Center last week by Matt Farina.
Oh, yeah.
It was the history of Moore County.
Yes.
He went back 25,000 years.
Yeah,
to,
sure.
Like when the cavemen were here. So, but it was interesting that he has all this history, and he talks a lot about the Revolutionary War and what happened in Moore County during that time frame. So we may be able to pick out some of that, because he's really, really into that.
Well, we're not too far off of some of the battles that did occur during the Revolutionary War.
That's correct.
Okay, so Kings Mountain, which is to our south, of course, not in our specific zone, what was a battle that we had, and of course you had Cornwallis go right through this area and camped over at Fort Bragg.
There was a lot of Tories, and the Scots defended the king all along, and there was a lot of battles back and forth during that time frame.
And is that first, one of the first justices on the Supreme Court was Mr. Moore.
That's right.
So he must
By
have
the
been,
way, he was only 4'9" tall.
yeah, back then, that's like being a professional basketball player. That's 250 years ago.
Now it's like being Bart Fitzgerald.
No offense to people.
All
right.
Shannon, I think you got some good guidance here with, see about the Tri-Cities, the National Park Service,
Maybe
the Pinehurst Elementary School, stuff like, get some more people on your committee and
Moore County history.
Moore County,
What
Historical
happened in this
Society.
area, during that time frame.
and
Once again, it's the Park Service is focused a little bit on the whole history of America, the 250-year evolution. So keep that in mind. It isn't just looking at 1776.
Right.
It's looking at the evolution of the country over those 250 years.
and ignore the whole thing about Betsy Ross and all that.
And also don't forget the idea that it is still the sign of the Declaration of Independence,
Yes.
which arguably is one of the great writings that Western civilization has produced, okay? And it's been referenced quite a bit, and certainly it's referencing all principles of Locke and things like that. But let's not forget the Declaration itself, maybe a reading of that, or,
It's a good idea.
Well, that's a good idea.
in the town hall, have the reading of the Declaration of Independence or something, so.
That's a good idea, yeah.
We can even get kids to read sections of it, and do something like that.
Perfect.
Okay.
Last thing, not exactly on topic, but we're gonna be celebrating the 25th anniversary of the 9/11 episode in the country. So we ought to give it just a little thought. That's gonna probably be a bigger deal in September, the 25th anniversary.
That might be,
And so, just think about that. We've got some time here, but I just think it's gonna be a really big thing for America. Go through that. Okay, anything else for us? Great job, thank you, Shannon.
good start there.
All right, got that.
All right.
And now we need a motion.
I move to adjourn the closed session and re-enter the work session. Think we're doing that? No?
No.
I move to recess the work session and enter a closed session pursuant to NCGS 143-318.11A6 to consider the qualifications, competence, performance, character, fitness, conditions of appointment, and conditions of initial employment of an individual public officer, employee, or prospective public officer, or employee, or to hear or investigate a complaint, charge, grievance by or against an individual public officer or employee.
Second.
Motion is second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, let's adopt the room for this meeting,
Now in a closed session.
and we'll go to closed session.
Good question from the cheap seats here. Am I gonna be able to stay on for this?
I don't know why you can't.
I don't know what do you have a policy on remote attendance in closed session?
We're not allowed to have remote attendance since the emergency was
Yeah,
Called off for
authorization of that, but yeah. So you don't have any.
We don't have a policy
We don't have a
that
policy.
specifically allows it.
Yeah, I
Okay,
would say probably should be.
I would think it would be okay because no public comment is allowed anyway, but I'm just asking the question.
I think we'll probably, I think we're safer to defer not to do it, based on what you're,
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to stay legal here.
yeah.
No, I would definitely like to stay legal. I will sign off.
Okay, thank you, John. Good luck, take care.
There you go.
Okay.
I'm going to close this out then.
Can you go
Just
ahead
like that.
and shut the computer off entirely?
Sure.
Speaker.